Hey everyone, it's Mary Ann from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. I want to make this segue into the next video. I want to play an extended video from a WPIX News 11 interview with Michael Mulgrew discussing the costs of education, the money in the budget for education costs. I want you to pay specific attention to his language. Don't think about the subject matter at this point. I want you to think about his words. So pay attention to what he's saying about the mayor supplanting. Ask yourself, is Michael Mulgrew being consistent with education funding as he has been about healthcare funding and costs? Listen to what he says, and then you tell us in the comments below, and we will be sure to tag the UFT. What you think about that. Hey everyone, it's Mary Ann from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. I want to share a video with you today of Michael Mulgrew, of course, doing an interview yesterday on WPIX News 11 New York. So let's see if I could share that with you.
My major concern is that the governor and the legislature has already committed to doing what is known as the foundation aid, sending additional money to the city of New York. My concern is that as the mayor continues to cut the schools, we're going to get opposition in Albany saying, why do we continue to send you money if the mayor continues to take the money that we're sending you and use it somewhere else in his budget? So that's going to be one of the big things we are confronted with throughout this legislative session, that Albany is quite frustrated that they're sending records amount of money to New York City schools, and the mayor continues to cut by supplanting the money into other parts of his budget.
So you have a lawsuit, right? You have a lawsuit that's filed against the city to prevent the budget cuts. Yes. When are both sides due in court? How is that exactly going to play out? What do you see playing out here?
What you're going to see is the initial arguments, and our argument is very clear that the city of New York doesn't have a right to cut education when it has records amount of reserves, when its revenue for this year is going to finish in a surplus, a multi-billion-dollar surplus, and therefore he should not be supplanting the money sent from Albany. That's going to be our argument. It's based on the maintenance of effort law for the state of New York for education funding. They're going to claim they have future debt, but every administration always has future debt. That's the way the budget goes. So it was just they went too far, and we felt we had to challenge it because it was the right thing to do.
So you're looking to restore funding to last year's levels, right?
Yeah, because Albany already has in their budget to continue to continue to push the foundation aid formula so that New York City is receiving what was appropriate, which was deemed by the courts 20 years ago. But this governor was the first governor who actually made sure that the state was doing what it was supposed to do and being responsible for the students of New York City. The odd thing here is we finally, it took over 20 years to get that fixed, and it was parents and teachers and elected officials lobbying for it. We finally get that, and then a mayor starts supplanting that money out into other parts of his budget. So it's like the kids can never win for some reason on the political spectrum.
So speaking of lawsuits, and we'll get back to the budget in a second. I want to ask.
So there you got to hear Michael Mulgrew talking about the budget and how money was in the budget for education and the mayor supplanted it. Nice word, Michael. Supplanted it and use it for other purposes. It's kind of like how when we accused you of taking $1 billion out of the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund, you said you could because it was fungible. You even had Vinny Gaglione make fun of me because of the use of that word when I was like, what the heck is fungible? If it's supposed to be used for one thing and it's used for something else. So isn't that what you did? You took money that was in the budget since 1967 that was put there for Medicare eligible retirees, and you used it for raises. And it's not supposed to be used for raises. That money was there for a reason. Then you have Henry Garrido saying that intro bill 1099 is the most irresponsible bill in the history of city council. It's an unfunded bill. Well, since 1967, 12-126 says the city will pay the full cost of health coverage up to the HIP HMO for every employee, retiree, and their dependent. It was funded. except you were taking our funding. Kind of like the same thing you're accusing the mayor of doing. I mean, that's actually kind of hysterical. So now you're saying the mayor supplanted it. You should know, brother, because you supplanted our money. You tried to take something that was dedicated for us and use it for something else it wasn't intended to. Isn't that what you did? I mean, the funding is still there, right? The lights are still on. Everyone still has health care. That you did not have a right to take away our healthcare benefits. That didn't belong to you. They were funded. It was in the budget. That money was earmarked towards city Medicare eligible retirees. You took that money, like you and Alan Klinger admitted in an MLC meeting, that if the city had to pay for us, it was less that it would pay for you. So you took that money to fund your own contract. It's in your contract in black and white, right? So I'm going to ask you again, why are you doing this? You should be walking this back. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on a second. You've got the active worker RFP now in progress. What's going to happen there? Because every time that money is earmarked for healthcare, you end up taking it, manipulating it, passing costs on, narrow network, increasing copays. What are you doing with the active worker RFP? We really haven't heard anything. And that's a concern too, because you committed, and Henry Garrido, of course, and the Municipal Labor Committee voted to agree to save the city $600 million a year. In this RFP contract, you agreed to save 10%, which is $1 billion. So how are you going to do that if you're not passing costs on? Because the documents that we recently just received from the city, the way that you were meeting your funding agreements was increasing copays, which was a direct cost transfer to active workers and under 65 retirees. And then, of course, you did the same thing to Medicare eligible retirees, but we stopped you legally in court. So those record savings that you also said that the mayor has and that he shouldn't be doing this, then you shouldn't be doing this to us either. Medicare eligible retirees are your most vulnerable population. We earned our benefits. We paid for them. We built this city. We rebuilt this city, and we built our unions. So to say that the mayor has record savings and that there's no reason for these cuts, then there's no reason to cut healthcare, Michael. And if you are labor and you are strong labor, then your municipal labor committee, in which you are a large stakeholder in, you should be using your leverage to push back on Bob Lynn and say, go fly a kite, Bob. There's record savings in the city budget. Screw you. You're not taking away our health care. That's what you should do. That's great talking points, but I really wish that you'd put your money where your mouth is. You can't accuse the mayor of doing something when you are doing it too. Use your leverage, Michael, the right way. You're a labor leader. You should be protecting not just your active workers, but your retired workers, because that's what a real labor leader would do. Not sell off healthcare, not sell off benefits, not pass costs on to them, not make utilizing healthcare as painful as possible so that they don't use it and try to manipulate utilization by, what did Claire Levitt call it? Behavior modification, or she called it behavioral economics. What is that, Michael? Let's charge people for using their healthcare. Find your soul. The future of labor depends on it, Mike. Have a good day.